Hi guys, and thanks for joining us. And I say us because, of course, as you can see, I have someone in the passenger seat. Some of you will recognize him as the country head for Porsche in India, Pavan Shetty. Pavan, thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for accompanying me on this drive today. And I'm not going to lie, I have a huge vested interest in having Pavan come for a drive with me because I get to drive one of the cool cars from the Porsche stable. So, yeah, that's a nice added incentive, I think, today. And it's one of the cars that I've been wanting to drive for a while. So we're driving the Macan. And, well, we'll tell you a little more about the car in a bit. But first, let me start by asking you. We've just come off of a track experience. We're not going to tell people what we did because let that be a surprise. But you, unlike some of the other CEOs, like spending time on the track. I now know that.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of species like me would you really find in automobile business, because I'm a commerce graduate who went on to do his master's in business administration. But I've been liking trucks, cars, bikes, everything that moves
Since whenever.
Since I was a kid. And I still remember how I got into also my first job was I was applying for an FMCG that didn't get through. I said whichever is the second company I'm going to apply and crack it, and that turned out to be automobile company. So here I am. I really enjoy being at the track. It feels like home. The cars are my best friends forever.
So how long has it been now that you've been in the auto space? What was that first company where you worked?
I was with Tata Motors when I started off. It's been now 14 short years with automobile. Been with trucks, mass cars, super sports cars, and then finally the master of all companies, Porsche.
So by the way, that's exactly how long our show has been on as well, CNB. 14 years, so that's a good coincidence. Now, Porsche, of course, now you've been there for a while. You know the brand. You know also the Indian operation really well. 3 key things about Porsche that you think other people should know.
First of all, it's really important for everybody to know that Porsche stands for quality, and this is justified with the fact that 2/3 of the cars ever built by Porsche are still on the road.
Yeah, which is not many brands can claim that.
2, you drive any Porsche, you will have a feeling of a sports car. And I'm sure, Siddharth, you would agree, because right now we're sitting in a compact SUV, but I'm sure the feeling is not radically different from the car you last drove on the track.
It's taking a lot of willpower not to take off.
And 3, Porsche only makes sports cars, either a front engine, mid engine, or rear engine.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. And in the Indian context, 3 things that you've learned about Porsche's business in India? Well, not 3, but 2 or whatever. I mean, you tell me. Because obviously India is a different market to Germany or wherever else.
So I really think as Indians we are very emotional about the cars. Because it's traditionally it's been something which sits on the top of the Maslow's need hierarchy theory. It's almost tantamounting to self-actualization. But when it comes to Porsche, I realized that sentiment is multiple notches above. And the moment you don't display this trait when you're even communicating with the customer, he immediately switches you off, and then you start having commercial discussion, which is a complete no-no when you are talking in a world of Porsche.
Which is good to know. It's heartening to know that, yeah.
For the longest time I thought there might not be customers who really would know cars like these in the detail that we would like them to know. And many of these customers have outsmarted even people who work in the company, where they're able to predict what would be the next model that Porsche might even think of bringing along. For example, the versions of GTs that we might do, in a way Porsche that way is quite predictable in what it does in terms of special models. But for customers based in India to even know that, predict that, it is very impressive. So,
sorry to butt in there. What people can't see, you guys can't see, is where we are driving. Come out of the BIC. So when I said track, that's the track. And in typical style, Greater Noida continues to keep things exciting. So the road was all dug up back there. Now I'm happy we're in the Macan, because suddenly I have a doubt about whether we're going the right way anymore. It's all dug up, crazy. But yeah, we come through it, you can see, without any problem. Please continue.
So these are key things which I really understood about the customers in India, that they really appreciate and enjoy and cherish the cars that they own and drive, and they really know a lot about cars. They're well traveled, they know about the global trends, and they really know what they are getting into.
All right, and as you can see now, we have another diversion here. So new construction that continues to surprise. So नहीं पता sir, sorry. Yeah, so we're not the only ones who are lost, as you can see. And considering I should know this area more than you do, sorry about that. But yeah, this whole construction thing has taken me by surprise. So yes, we will continue to drive though, and I will not bore you with my problems on the road.
But aren't you happy that you lost your way? You get so much.
Yeah, I get more time on the car, so absolutely, I'm not complaining too hard. And then getting to really test the various capabilities of the car in a sense. The thing that everybody, of course, always wants to know is about new product. Now, we've spent the good part of the last year showing everybody the new metal that Porsche is bringing out globally, or is set to bring out globally. I will eventually get to the Mission E, but last year, has really been all about celebrating the new Cayenne globally. We get the car this year, right?
Yes.
We do get the car this year.
Yes, we do get the car this year, thanks to the legalities involved around getting a car.
Yeah, it was that I was trying to open.
So yeah, car should be here. Hopefully closer to Q3, end of Q3, beginning of Q4, sometime around that time.
And expectations from it, because it's always been, this massively popular model.
So that
even for those who can't afford to buy one, I mean, it's just it holds that benchmark status.
It's fairly safe, and we are able to now think of stretching that a bit, because the new model, being the way it is, the acceptability, in my opinion, would be a lot more than the other models that we keep bringing in, because with other models you first need to educate, get them behind the seat, they experience it and they fall in love, then they realize it's the Porsche, any other Porsche that they could expect. But things with Cayenne would be slightly more easier, and
because people already understand
what a Cayenne can do. They've seen the pictures of the car. The first set of reviews have been very, very exciting. There are customers who've already started placing orders. Even now, since the past 3-4 months, we have cars which are already booked, and the journey's on.
And is there anything sort of specifically different that you would do with the car this time in terms of how you bring it to market?
So we are getting a lot more closer to the customers. Hitherto, what we've done is we stuck around to the metros and brought in the customers, and this only ensured that our customers sometimes had to really adjust their schedules to suit our needs. And I think this, in a way, I would like to change, where this time we would also go into tier 2 cities launching the car very close to the customers. Some of our so-called special customers will also get a preview even before we launch it. So some of the customers would really have an advantage of seeing the car before anybody else. So it's quite exciting. The target is to reach to more people this time.
And sorry, I just had my little fun there, as you saw, for a second. But coming back to the car itself, tell us about it. I mean, in terms of what you think would be its sort of key USP, or what sets it apart from the last one.
So there is a big change in the way it drives. It's gone a lot more closer to the sports car than it was before. Even if you feel the suspension about it, it's gone a lot more easier on the road, and there is a whole lot of gadgets. As you see, the entire buttons or the buttons which are mentioned for the multiple options have gone off, and we have a screen, very futuristic looking car.
Yeah, it looks really cool, I have to say.
Big infotainment system which helps you navigate, connect your phone. You can put your own profile picture on that one. A lot of personalization, and this is what we all like.
That's where the market's going. Yeah,
that's what the market's going, and I think it's just there. Be it technology, communication, drivetrain, comfort, it has everything that you can ask for.
And under the hood, for India, what do we start with?
To start with, we'll have a V6 engine. We'll have a turbo. We'll have other fuel variants, but I'm really excited for the first time we'll have a hybrid, which is coming our way, and so everything that the customer wants to choose from, you'll have an option to pick.
So tell me, is that already an offer to customers to book today before the launch, or right now you're just taking bookings for the V6?
So he can typically choose what he wants to buy, and everything is available even now to book.
So there are already people who are sort of talking hybrid as well with the dealers.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. That's different as well then.
Yeah. So this is also marked different.
So do you see a response already for that? I mean, before the car even gets here?
So yeah, the response is there, but I think hybrid being hybrid, first people like to see it, drive it,
Sure.
to really understand what it promises and delivers before they really go behind it. Because hybrid, understanding the Porsche hybrid is also different, because not only it adds to the greener quotient in it, or adds to the efficiency in terms of fuel efficiency, but it also adds horsepower into the cars, which
Makes it
is
more
not
powerful.
known to a lot of people.
Or what you don't expect, right? You don't think.
You typically expect the hybrid to be making it more nimble, but in case of Porsche, it gives you added 130 horsepower,
Substantial.
which by no means is a small number. So yeah, you not only more efficient, but you're also quicker than the other cars when you're on a level playing field. So
You know, I know of course that you operate at the luxury end of the market, and so very different rules compared to the mass end. Having said that, we've seen, I think I guess Volvo was the only one who's done a plug-in hybrid so far in that SUV space, and certainly limited volumes. What is your approach when it comes to how you're going to address those customers in terms of, getting them used to that whole sort of ecosystem of how to use a hybrid?
I think it's really important, first of all, to educate them on the benefits of the car. Of course, then to let them know on having, because there would be charging points at home. We are preparing our dealerships to be,
Which you will go in and install, right?
Install.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
then things about the dealerships being ready, about having charging infrastructure. But the best thing is the car is also able to charge itself while you're in motion. You can choose to also charge the battery,
Regenerative.
and regenerative batteries. And if you enter a city zone, if tomorrow there are rules around this car is capable of even being driven without
Pure electric
with a good 50-kilometer range. So that, in my opinion, is quite exciting. Makes it multifaceted. I mean, could you ever think of a car which could be driven on a racetrack, off-road? It's green, it's efficient, it sounds good, it's fun to drive. What more would you want from a car?
I just want to drive it, just making me more and more tempted is what you're doing. Not to say that I'm not enjoying what I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm almost forgetting that we're chatting and that
I just hope we don't drive to Delhi, because that's not our destination.
I shouldn't overshoot, right? Yeah. No, I'm trying to behave myself. Now, all of this excitement that you referred to leads very quickly to Mission E, because I think, like any other brand, the fact that Porsche brought something like that as a concept to a motor show was not surprising. But what became surprising is when suddenly we started to hear that car is coming to market next year, globally anyway. Internally within Porsche, when you go back to headquarters and when you're listening to what's happening there, and getting to see some of that obviously before the rest of us, how excited is everybody at Porsche about this development?
So, more than excited, I see a strong belief in the way we are approaching the entire topic, from digitalization, electrification, and it's just not products, it's entire DNA which is working in this direction on connect mobility. So in my opinion, this is what is something which will have a lot of involvement from us as a OEM also. Where it's just not creating good cars, but also looking from a future what could give us a cutting edge advantage in the electric car space. And I think when Mission E comes, this is exactly what you will notice, because the current image of electric cars around the world is a lot more to do again with efficiency, greener technology.
Not necessarily performance.
Not necessarily performance. And this is exactly where Porsche comes in and gives it a twist.
Yeah.
Where the promise of Porsche, like all of the cars, stays, and on top of that, you also have this
Almost
advantage.
legitimizes the whole experience, right? Saying that it will also be fun. Take off your Porsche hat for a second. The traditional question used to be, does it have to be naturally aspirated or can it be turbo? Now I'm going to ask you, can it be electric? I mean, we know the company's going there. So that's why I said take off your hat for a second. Where do you stand on this?
So, I would go back to even the fact that as human beings in our evolution process, let's look at communication. For the longest time, we thought landline is the end of it when it comes to communication. But we never realized that is a latent need or a thing which would help us communicate while we're on the move. And that has progressed by leaps and bounds in so many years. So this technology change, which human beings adapt, is quite slow at the beginning. But once it catches momentum,
There's no stopping it.
then there is no stopping it. And I think electric cars would not be any different from that.
All right.
Once the initial inhibitions of range anxiety and the other minimal doubts that go off, I think then it's also within India, it's also talk about automatic cars. There was a perception about automatic cars and why manual is better than automatic. While the whole world moved towards automatic, we've been still
Stuck on that.
But now if you see the rate at which the automatics have caught up, is a lot more faster than what it took to initially introduce this version within India.
So I know there's a camera pointing at you in a sense, and even though this may be an informal setting compared to the usual interviews you're used to, but you do realize you slipped into your Porsche boss mode and gave me that answer. You didn't give me what do you think? I want to know that.
So,
You gave me the comms cleared answer.
so I really put myself in that chair when I said, yeah, it takes some time to really get adjusted. So that's also for me.
All right, fair
Unless I
enough.
really get in the car and feel it is when I know that the promise is done. But till then, I've driven up with engines which make sounds. I've driven up with turbos which used to have lag, which no more have a lag, and they're
God, some of the new, I mean, on the 718, the turbo is just.
Yeah, I mean, don't even feel that there is a turbo. So yeah, I mean, I'm somebody who would not want to be left behind in some ancient tradition under the garb of being a purist.
All
So I'm quite modern and quite open to newer technologies as long as the need is met, and in this case, it has to be drivability.
Of course, people coming on the wrong side of a roundabout, that's UP for you. So better to be careful than not. All right, so that's fair. And last thing, because I don't want to obviously, keep taking advantage of the time I'm getting with you. For you, the priority at Porsche India this year, Cayenne, I'm already guessing, is the first one because it is the new product that arrives. But besides that,
I'm really, really excited about a car which is coming to India, which is also so-called special car, the most powerful 911 of all times, the GT2 RS. So this should be here.
see my smile broadening.
Yeah.
You talk about it.
I couldn't show you my heart racing already. So 700 horsepower, 770 Newton meter torque on a 911 would be a sight to see in this case, because I'm sure I won't get to drive it while in India because they are customer cars. But I am very, very happy that it's not just one car. There are few cars coming to India, and the customers who waited, in this case sometimes really asked for the car to be given to them. So it's not that the teams have gone about presenting and selling those cars. Customers have really pushed us and asked for those cars.
Yeah, it's not just a matter of course where you've launched a new model. It's something that people genuinely asked for.
And this says a lot from the era that where we come from, where people wondered, why would you have a 700 horsepower car in India? I can anyway get a 911 with a 370 horsepower. Why do I need a 700 horsepower? The car is the same.
You never
All
need one,
these
do you?
naive questions have just vanished.
So when does it get here?
It comes mid of this quarter, or maybe end of this quarter, and that would make me really smile, and I'm sure it will bring a smile to your face as well, because I've heard that car, and There is a monster in there.
Well, I'm guessing that when you said that they're customer cars, so therefore not a press car. So I need to maybe
Befriend one of the.
well, or either that. Actually, that's probably easier than what I was going to suggest, which is get to Germany really quickly and try and get a hold of
It's easier to befriend. They're really nice customers that we have.
You need to introduce me to some people.
They really appreciate like-minded people,
Yeah, it's true.
and it's so much more easier.
All right, so literally last question then, last point at least. Let me say, 70 years of Porsche. I mean, that's a special anniversary. We were talking earlier before we got into the car about how I remember being part of the 60-year celebration. Well, obviously 10 years ago. How big a deal is that?
So for us, it's nothing short of being called a festival. So while June 8th is the day where it's officially when it's 70 years, but we would have a flavor of it going throughout the year. So June is when we will definitely celebrate the 70 years with some sort of celebration happening across dealerships, from our office. There would be definitely excitement. And what better when we ask our customers to join the entire bit with their cars and the color and people together. What more would you ask for? And then this is what is really exciting for me. So this.
And does it sort of tie into what's happening globally as well as a brand?
Yeah. So this would be something where which will happen across the world, where customers, us, dealers all come together, celebrate a bit, get our cars together, be on the road. It's just a bonding from our roots to where we are today.
Great. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps listening to it. So it'll be fun to sort of experience it, I'm sure. And look forward to that. And as you can see, I'm continuing to take some sort of wild west route back to your hotel.
I can see that. I'm playing ignorant here.
You're just being nice. I have him captive, you see. So yeah, he has no choice but to put up with it. No, apologize for that. But I got waylaid in the conversation and getting distracted a little by the car. Having said that, yeah, we're pretty.
Now that you've driven it this far and this is the first time you're driving it, I want your first impression of this car.
That's why I'm getting distracted. It's not like me to say that about any car. So yes, absolutely a great one, and it's the ride quality. I think that certainly impresses more than anything else. Of course, because like you said, you know it's a Porsche, you know it'll go, but the ride quality is really special.
Did you expect a SUV to behave in this fashion?
No, I mean it doesn't feel SUV like. Let me put it that way.
So it even has mixed tires.
And having spent enough and more time with the Cayenne, I'm still saying that. So obviously that makes the expectation on the new Cayenne even more, because I know a lot of that learning has gone back into the development of the new car, as in the Macan development learning has gone back into.
So as simple as
and it's the car that everybody benchmarks, you know. I mean, I won't name the rival specifically, but every new car in this space, whether price wise or size wise, in the compact SUV space that's come out globally in the last 12 months, maybe a little more, they all say that, you know, when it comes to performance, the benchmark car to beat or get close to is the Macan, right? So that says volumes, I think.
But I think the engineers have taken a great care to bringing it where it is today. As simple as putting mixed tires. You would not have assumed mixed tires on a SUV. It's so much a forte of sports cars, or where you have to see mixed tires. But
it's great to see a lot of that same, not just DNA, but even philosophy, therefore, come into the product. So,
but I think all of this comes from motorsports, applied and derived in some form, finding way into road legal cars.
All right, and then we're back on the main road, so very close to our destination. Thank you for doing this today.
An absolute pleasure, Siddharth.
Walking into it completely blind, because I totally surprised you with this request, but appreciate it.
No, this only goes to say that I really meant when I said I'm modern and I'm open to experiences, even with an electric car. I couldn't have given you a better example of that.
Yeah, I completely endorse that view now, because not everybody will jump into the car like this and just be. And literally, we've just whacked on one camera. This isn't some, you know, pre-planned, high production level shoot. So thank you again, appreciate it. Great chatting with you.
Absolute pleasure.
And we have to do it again soon. Maybe in the new car. When it
yeah,
comes
but look forward to that.
Either one of the new cars. I'm not going to close the window yet on the.
Are you suggesting the GT2 RS?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not closing the window on that. Let's befriend that customer really quickly. Or at least I should.
I'll have a bouquet to choose from. That's a good part.
Look forward to at least seeing it in India, if nothing else. Thanks again.
Thank you, Siddharth.
And thank you all as well for watching. I haven't forgotten that you're there with us. Any feedback you have, of course, please keep it coming. You know how to reach me. And tell me what you'd like to see on this segment as well. As I've been saying the last couple of times we've done it, it is very new and open to suggestion as always, just like on the show. So safe driving. Please wear your seatbelts. Bye-bye. And there's the wonderful traffic now and all the honking.
How far are we now?
We should be, I mean, that just around where that building is. And let me turn this off.